Okay, so yeah, welcome. So Brian, Dawn says she invited you, so be interested to hear what she told you and what your thoughts are, and any questions that you might have coming out of that initial contact, and how can we help?
On a conference call. Sorry, everybody. Hello. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I've got someone here. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, everybody.
No problem.
No problem. Just so you know that Brian has been to the chamber. He came last year. He's also in the exhibition industry, and he has been to the chamber a number of times. I don't know if you recognize him.
He's
Plastic Band Branding is his company.
Yes, met him at Midrand, I think.
Yeah, maybe there. He's also been to the Four Ways chamber. So, has anything transpired with the big billboard and Jasper? Maybe Trevor?
No, I must admit that I haven't followed through on that. I must make a note to follow through on that. My apologies. I'll talk to him straight away after this.
Oh, sorry, just a quick one. What did you say Brian's company name was?
Elastic Band. I'll send you his details, Irene.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I'll forward that to you.
Okay, it's just for me to update that database that I'm keeping running for everyone.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm actually just going to get out of this and send a message to Jasper straight away. So I'll listen in the background.
All right.
And I'll
cool, Trevor.
Done. Okay, apologies, Dawn.
No problem.
So yeah, Brian, as Dawn was saying, we should recognize you, but your pictures was a little bit dark, so I didn't recognize you initially. So yeah, we recall meeting you at Midrand, I think, with Trevor Kettler initially, and at the Midrand chamber.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, Dawn. I asked Dawn for some other information if she knew anybody yesterday, and then she sent me a couple of links this morning, and I knew about this virtual trade fair. And I was watching the one YouTube video now, and I thought, it could be interesting from just to kind of understand how you guys see this playing out and what market it's going to play out to, and if there is an opportunity for me, or if every cent I have at the moment I must hold on to until we get to level 2 or 1. I don't know. When do you say this is going to happen in June?
Yeah. Yeah, so the 19th
Cool.
to the 22nd.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm just here to learn, basically.
Okay, cool. So yeah, look, in essence, we don't see this as replacing anything in the physical world. We certainly see, we've spoken about it as potentially being part of a hybrid approach to the marketplace. But obviously, currently, physical exhibitions and the like are shut down, and we don't know when those are going to come back on stream. So clearly there's a challenge for people in business at the moment as to how to get to their markets and how to engage with their customers and how to deliver products, services, content, whatever they might have to those marketplaces because of this whole lockdown situation. So in essence, what we've done is we've put together this virtual trade fair. As I say, we see it not as replacing the physical at all, but certainly to be complementary. But in the short term, to provide an additional conduit for businesses to actually get online and get involved. In essence, the concept is similar to a physical trade fair. Obviously, we don't have the same kind of limitations and restrictions that physical trade fairs have. You're not bound by physical infrastructure, physical space, and even, as some of our folk like to say, even gravity. So, so yes, to set up a booth or a store on the virtual trade fair, you would need to have a little bit of digital work done by yourself or by somebody who can assist you. Logos, banners, some images representing products and services, those sorts of things. But you clearly don't have to build a physical environment like you do, for a normal trade fair. So that's where the departure perhaps mentally comes for folk like you who've been directly involved in the physical trade fair world and environment. but I don't think it's a big leap to go completely digital and switch the mindset as to how can I represent my product now in this space, and perhaps even better in some ways, because, as I say, simply the limitations of physical space and time aren't there. Yeah, so it's a 4-day trade fair, as they're starting on the 19th, running through to the 22nd. What we're offering folk beyond that is the opportunity to get in what we're calling a virtual mall, which is a 24/7 online presence, e-commerce enabled. As the trade fair is, it's going to be fully e-commerce enabled, so people can transact through those environments, and just trying to help businesses get online, get going, and get in front of hopefully an aggregated audience, rather than just their specific little database and niche audience that they've currently got. So the more exhibitors we get onto the trade fair, obviously the more eyeballs hopefully we'll get on all their exhibitors, because we're offering exhibitors 250 free ticket invites to distribute to their databases, as part of the package that they get, with subscribing to become an exhibitor. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I suppose that's the concept. I mean, does it answer some of your questions? Does it raise any new ones?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great concept. I think, like with any expo, there's normally it's a targeted, it's targeted on a market. So I think my big thing is, who is going to come to this? Or is it just like, let's put our contacts and our databases together and then obviously learn through this process?
I think it's a bit of both. So firstly, again, we don't have the physical restrictions of space, which tends to define other trade fairs, and therefore they tend to focus in a vertical market environment. So we've said, we don't have a vertical theme for this particular trade fair. As is our pilot operation, we want to open it as far and as wide as possible. But having said that, within the digital structures, everything will be categorized. So if you want to go and specifically look at PPE, or if you want to go and specifically look at homemakers, or you want to look at DIY, or whatever the categories happen to be, you'll be able to go into those vertical categories and drill down specifically within those environments and see what products and services are listed, and engage with those vendors in those environments. So I think we have almost the best of both worlds here. So the ability to have a vertical look and feel based on simply categorization, but also open the doors to whoever needs a presence and wants a presence and wants to be able to showcase their products. So yeah, I think it's that's certainly the approach for this first trade fair. We see these hopefully rolling out on a pretty regular basis, and if there are big organizers and promoters that say, look, I want one that's specifically themed towards my industry, my client base, we're happy to make the platform available and do themed events or white labeled events, depending on what the thinking is, from the promoter or the organizer who wants to take that approach. So I think we really, this is a pilot, as you said. It's what we like to call an MVP, so minimum viable product. We've gone in there. We're testing, we're tweaking, we're developing as we go, and testing the market and looking for feedback, and so it's an exciting time.
So how do you see this working from the 19th? So will people be able to go on, see who's exhibiting, look at what talks are there, and then kind of save those calendar dates to their calendars, or invite, so that we can schedule time to participate? Or how do you see this kind of playing out in the physical world?
Yeah, so we, in terms of people visiting the environment, it'll be formally opened on the 19th. They're going to be speakers, as you've mentioned, so we're going to have topics. We're looking for at least 32 different speakers over the 4 days, so 8 speakers a day, probably one at the top of each hour, speaking for maybe 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the content, and then perhaps taking Q&A type sessions online, so that that whole sort of schedule of speakers we're busy putting together with the topics at the moment, and we'll be using that to obviously hopefully generate additional interest and promotional activity. So yeah, you'll be able to go in, you'll be able to see what's listed, you'll be able to, as you say, identify times and topics that you're interested in, and bookmark them or put them into your calendar. Exhibitors will be available 24/7 for the period of the 4 days, so you can visit exhibits whenever you want. Obviously, talking to people live, if you're doing it at midnight, might be a little bit of a challenge, but you can certainly leave messages for exhibitors if you're doing it, at strange hours. But otherwise, we expect exhibitors to be online and available to communicate with potential clients, during the sort of normal working hours. You'll have click-throughs on booths and things like that, where people can go to presentations or videos that have been pre-recorded, downloadable documentation, content that may be of interest. Possibly, we've created something called a virtual goodie bag. So, your typical trade fairs, people walk around with their little carry bags and put in their brochures and put in their gift vouchers and whatever they might be. So, all of those sort of concepts have been brought in as well.
Okay. Cool. So if I buy a ticket, do I get a notification, then I register, and then I can go onto the portal, kind of click around, see what I want?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good. Hello, Gracie. Yeah, so we've got Grace with us as well now, so welcome. And Trevor, you putting up something there. What are you doing? Was that you, Trevor?
Yeah, I'm looking at this guy, Elastic Brand. I don't know who he is. So Brian, hi, Trevor Nell. Just having a look at your gallery. I mean, you're absolutely made for this. Clearly, and just share with me. I don't understand your industry, and I've had the input from the Dawns and Irenes and Alexes and all that. So, what has happened to your business?
Well, I mean, it's it's at 0.5% of capacity.
It's crazy.
It is. It's mad.
Absolutely crazy. And all I can share with you, Brian, is as I go through and I have a look at this, I think what we have to do is we don't know where this market is going to go. We haven't got a clue as to whether we're going to go back to where we were, or whether there's going to be a seismic change in the marketplace. But I cannot believe in my heart of hearts that all of this work that you have done here is not going to in some way happen as we go forward down the road. We just don't know when it is. So the virtual trade fair has been developed as a platform to be a bridge just at the moment for people like yourselves that are creatives. And I think you guys, the Alex, the Dawns, Irene, and now yourself in what you're doing here, you should be uplifting all of this information to say, hey, get it onto the virtual trade fair. We are offering a platform that has the digital platform that bridges between what you've got and what you can offer to your clients. I mean, how many people do you actually connect? You've clearly been around, because I can't really recognize you as your beard always been around.
I've had my beard for a while now. I can't remember.
I thought this might be a lockdown thing because I can't really recognize you. But listen, I'm an old boy. I don't even remember what happened last week, for goodness sake. So, but how many people do you connect with, and your history in this game?
I mean, I've got a database of probably about 400 varying contacts through corporates and other event and exhibition companies and so on. I'd send out newsletters and I do my thing. I mean, I've had to diversify quite a bit and go into whatever I can to keep some money rolling through. but during this lockdown period. But my business is, in the public space. It's in gatherings,
Yep.
and just like Dawn or anybody else in the similar industry. So, yeah, that's, I'm not a big player. I have been around for quite a few years. I think we have a unique product called T3 System, which I import directly from the UK, and we locally extrude now in Joburg, the aluminium. So we've come a long way with the system, and I think that that's kind of my focus, or at least it has been up until 2 months ago. Yeah.
Well, it appears to me that creative is your primary gift here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my invitation to you is, hey man, have a look at this virtual trade fair. Ask us whatever you want. How can you actually utilize this? How can we work with you between all of ourselves to actually get a message out to your guys, your 400 people in your database? Lock them into offering them a bridge between what you were doing and the virtual format, so that you don't have to redevelop everything that we've done. We've kept it simple. We've done 3 factors here: simple, affordable, highly cost effective. Now, on top of that is to apply the creativity that you have together with Dawn, together with Irene, to actually come up with something that we can offer to those 400 people in your database before anyone else is contacting them. So to try and get you to work around it and try and get something out to your people as quickly as possible, to say, listen, you know what, right now, every single business has got to get the message out there that we're in business, and we've got to be doing business. Otherwise, people just sit back and wait and hope that something might happen.
Yeah.
What's your prediction as to when are we going to get back to some form of normality?
Sure. I don't know. I'm reluctant to even try and answer that question. I'm hoping September, but who actually knows?
But you and I both. Who the hell knows? So, and I'm talking about it with our chamber members, is that there are actually 3 steps in this environment. You've got to play a game of being defensive with what you've got, and that's everything that I'm looking at you. And I'm going to go back to your gallery because I think your secret is here. You've also got to play on the offensive, which is why we've developed the virtual platform. And then the third one is a combination of the 2. We can't throw away who we are, what we're great at, everything that we've done, but we've got to try and bridge it with a really aggressive marketing approach to turn around and say, hey, we've got a couple of solutions here. This is what we've done in the pre-pandemic world of about 60 days ago. And we've got something here as a virtual platform that we can explore. And so our invitation to you is, have a look at this thing, work out how we can actually back you up in getting to feel, just in your newsletter to your 400 odd regular clients there, to say, hey, do yourself a favor, let's promote you in the virtual trade fair until we work out what the hell's going to happen in the physical world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You interested?
I am. I'm interested in everything at the moment. It just all comes down to rands and
cents. Why can't I see Brian? Did you fall off your chair, Brian?
No, I'm here.
Oh, am I lost? Okay.
Yeah, maybe just take your share screen down. I mean, we've
scroll down, Trevor.
I think we've lost Trevor completely. So, yeah, he seems to have frozen. So
okay.
Yeah.
Can I just chat quickly to Brian?
Yeah, go for it, Dawn. No.
Okay, Brian. So how this works is it's part of Quicket. We're part of the Quicket setup. So we have a code that we have that you would then link onto our code. When you register with Quicket, or if you've got an account with Quicket, then you would put in your own details there and they would send you your own code. So then that's how, if you become a promoter, you would then get your commission by that. So it's 15% commission on everyone that you sign up. And the pricing structure, I don't know if you're aware of it, it's 7,500 for a 4-day exhibition, which you know is nothing for a 4-day exhibition. Very affordable. That's the early bird special. If you take the 4-day exhibition plus the virtual mall, it's 13,500, which is nothing. The virtual mall is for a whole year. So for that kind of price for marketing, it's really a gift, you know. And plus, as Ivan said, so once you get an exhibitor to sign up, he gets 250 free tickets for his client base to come and see the expo, which has a value of over 37,000 Rand. So there's so many added value items to come onto this platform. And not only do you have exposure in South Africa and Africa, it's international as well. So if you've got international customers that want to come and exhibit here and get exposure in Africa, the platform's open for everybody, Brian. So it's really an exciting opportunity for us, because we're all finding ourselves stressed out at this point in time because there's nothing happening in our industry. So on this platform, we now created a space for people to promote their products and services.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful concept. You know, I mean, I'm in via the finances. So, like, you know, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of well, there's one corporate that I'm thinking would love this, Vumatel, who were looking at sponsoring big events and stuff, and now all of that has been taken away for this year.
Oh, well, this is a great platform for them. We're looking for sponsors too, Brian.
Yeah, so maybe, have you got something you can send me on email? I'm actually talking to them like almost every day as we're sorting out things for their offices and so on. And I could probably propose this and see. That probably won't go for the first one, but at least it'll be on the radar. And maybe the next one we can do, you know, relatively soon. I don't know, depending how it all works out. But they'll probably want to jump on board with this. Because also, the way I see this is, you know, we're targeting it. Well, we could access communities, you know. So we're doing it through the chamber, the various chambers of all the different chapters. The various communities from around Joburg could also be involved in some way, shape or form. And for Vumatel, that would speak to them because they operate in communities, you know, and of course their brand is fiber to the home. So it could actually be quite a nice marriage.
And Brian, also, you know, what we could do is if you find somebody that wants to exhibit, or you get a collective to exhibit on one stand, we'll call it the stand, we get a collective of people to exhibit on that platform that gives them each, they pay a small amount and they get the exposure, you know.
Yeah.
So listen, I just want to apologize, Brian. Whenever I talk too much, Ivan pulls a plug on me. So I was obviously talking too much, but I'm listening in, and I think you've got the picture without a shadow of doubt. So Dawn, whose connection is this, Dawn or Irene?
Dawn.
So you're going to follow through with Brian to give him the about information, the PowerPoints, you've got all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'll send him all the info, and then I've just WhatsApped him the promoter code, so you can look at that on it. And then I'll also send you these the ClickFunnels links that we have. I'll send that through to you as well.
Okay.
So if you then become a promoter and you got an exhibitor coming on, you will then have your own codes for your promoter code and your exhibitor code, so that any commission that comes in would be directed to you and you'd get paid through Quicket.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dawn, just a note that, you know, Brian, if you go that route, the funnels that Dawn got obviously specific to her codes at this stage of the game. So if you know, to recruit exhibitors, you know, once you've signed up and all the rest of it, I can give you a version of the funnel for yourself with your own coding, so it does link directly back to you. So, you know, take a look at what Dawn has got there, but I wouldn't distribute them until...
Don't send them out, because they need to be made specifically for you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I got you. So just quickly break it down for me in simple language. So I pay 7.5 grand. I come on board. That's the basic entry-level package, correct?
That's for a stand, Brian.
Right. But if I don't take a stand, I can still be a promoter.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you can do both, and obviously as you sell other people's stands, you're going to generate income that will be paid, which will obviously cover your initial investment if you go that route. So you know,
how many people are signed up at the moment? I mean, how many different stands have we got?
Yeah, the numbers are still relatively small. We've got.
You've gone off, Ivan. We can't hear you.
Sorry, let my space bar go. My fingers are getting cold. So as I say, we've got about a dozen or so exhibitors on so far, and you know we're looking to get extra on, you know, new ones on every day. So you know it's building up as we go at the moment, but it's still fairly small as we stand currently.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's just
Brian. So this being the first one, we thought we'd do it quickly just to get the ball rolling. But there's nothing stopping us from doing this every month. If we've got a specific target market, we can do every month. We can do a general one, or we can do a specific target market. You know, even organizers. I've spoken to organizers. They're also interested in using this platform for their own target-based clients. So the scope for this, Brian, is amazing. Because right now we really don't have a platform, and now with this virtual option, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, so there's, you know, just a quick two additional things, Brian. I think the one is, you know, the pricing as it stands currently is an early bird special, which ends on the 5th of June. The reason for that is, you know, the 2 weeks running up to the actual fair itself, we don't want everybody piling in at the 11th hour, because I mean, you know yourself, digital work takes time, you know, to upload your products and you know, get your store set up and so on online is going to take time. So we don't want everybody trying to demand attention and support and services at the 11th hour. So the early bird special does cut off on the, you know, at 6 o'clock in the evening of the 5th, and then the price for the basic stand goes up to 17.5, and the price for the full package goes up to 31. So you know, there's a big incentive to get in early for people to make those savings. So 10 grand saving on the basic package, and 17.5 grand saving on the full package. But again, and the other thing that I wanted to just touch on, I mean, if you've got the digital capabilities and the digital skills, that's something you can immediately start to offer your client base as well, in terms of getting their digital requirements set up. So you can also look to you know, if you have that capability, and by the looks of your website you do, to actually start offering people you know, those digital services pre the show itself. So another way to generate some revenue in the meantime.
What digital services?
Well, banners and logos and designs, those sorts of things. Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Like that YouTube I sent you with the actual stand, you know, you can create that yourself for your client with their own branding. We have got a set one that they can have certain options of what they will get. A set on the first initial price, they'll get a set amount of things. But if they wanted added things, then it will cost them more things. So you can always take on that role of putting their package together.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. And if we get you up on the site, you know, you can obviously go through the setup process yourself, familiarize yourself, and then offer it as a service back to your client base.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Lovely. Well, Dawn, are you going to send me the package with the information of the email?
I'll send you the info I have here.
All right, cool. Lovely.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for joining.
Right, thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
Every day from Monday to Friday, we have the same questions and answers, so you're welcome to hop on.
All right.
And Brian, where do you operate from?
Carlswald, Crowthorne.
Right, got it. Okay, so I know where you are. So we're all online until phase 2 or phase 1?
Yeah. Phase 3, you can drive around, but you can't stop anywhere. So.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'd love to have your input. I want to hear from you, because I can see a winner there in what you've got, man. And our whole trick is to work with the gift of all the different inputs that we've got in here. And also, don't forget first mover advantage. Huh? We've established the pricing structure to make certain that the smartest of the smart climb on board first and grab the opportunity. And you know what? We know that this is cheap, and we're going to be around here for a long time. So it's it's if you can see the opportunity, I'd love you to come back to us and tell us why you see the opportunity in this thing, or you don't, because we're not going to mess around here.
Yeah, 100%. Cool.
And we have to
Appreciate
work as a collective now, Brian. We can't work individually. We've got to pull together as a collective. That's the success, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
Cool.
folks, we've gone past the bottom of the hour. Grace
Thank
has
you.
been listening quietly in the corner. Grace, I don't know if there was any quick comments you wanted to make before we end off the session. You've been sort of sidelined by the discussion so far, but you have been on before. So, yeah, was there anything you wanted to pick up on?
Not quite. I do have a few inquiries through my Facebook page. I'm responding to this, so to see who is able to join us. Most of them are coming from West Africa. I've seen Accra, I've seen Gambia, I've seen Nigeria. So it's all over the place. I have about 17 inquiries actually.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well done. Excellent.
So
And yeah, Brian, I don't know
just-
if you mentioned that, you know, we are taking this out to Africa and the rest of the world. So, you know, we're not limiting anybody by the local geographical boundaries. So we're opening this far and wide. So from an exposure point of view, as well as from a, you know, access to other markets, you know, people can come in from wherever. So that's absolutely super. And please,
I mean,
invite anybody. Invite anybody.
Sorry, carry on.
Go for it, Grace.
I was saying it's kind of very difficult at this stage to know their interest, because all I'm getting is that I'm interested. Can I be part of this? And that's it. So I give them the link, and I haven't seen any more further interaction. I have, however, requested the people to contact me directly via WhatsApp, just to make sure I can understand what their needs are and see how I can potentially assist with that.
Okay, great.
So I'll be able to probably give feedback tomorrow on the whereabouts of these inquiries and whether they're genuine or just time wasters.
Okay, no, that's great. But please invite them to these sessions as well. So these sessions are completely open to any person who has any level of interest in the function. So whether they're a visitor, an exhibitor, you know, whatever it is, you're welcome to invite people onto these sessions. So please do that. You know, the more the merrier. Okay, folks. Good. Thanks very much. And yeah, we'll be
Thanks. Chat to you at about 2, Irene.
Yeah, 100%, no problem.
Thanks.